Jenny Bell, also commonly referred to as Jane, was a freedom seeker from Alabama who settled in Des Moines, Iowa, and became an important figure in the Black community, especially in women's suffrage circles. Bell was born on June 7, 1818, in Madison County, Alabama. Her mother was originally from Tennessee, while some sources claim that her father was either from Virginia or South Carolina. Sometime in the 1830s, she met Henry Bell, an enslaved man on a neighboring plantation in Decatur, Alabama, owned by Tom Bobbins. The two married in 1837 and would eventually have 16 children. In 1864, during the Civil War, Bell and her husband fled the South with their children. Though the specific details are unknown, they traveled along the Underground Railroad, eventually making their way to Iowa. One source claims they traveled through the Jordan House, a notable stop along the network to freedom in West Des Moines. The family first settled in Dallas County, Iowa, before moving to Polk County in 1866. In 1875, they moved to 1004 Fremont Street, where the couple would remain until their deaths. In 1880, her occupation was listed in the federal census as keeping house. Jenny Bell became a prominent figure in the Black community of Des Moines. In January of 1818, the Polk County Women's Suffrage Association held a parlor meeting at the Bells' home. Both white and Black women attended, many of them freedom seekers as well. Another suffrage meeting was held at her home a year later. Historian Leslie Schwalm notes that Bell was considered one of the city's leading Black women, and other sources refer to her as one of our oldest and most highly esteemed ladies of Des Moines. She was affectionately referred to as Mother Bell, while her husband, Henry, was called Father Bell. In January of 1895, Jane was reunited with her brother, Salem Hampton, from whom she had been separated 50 years prior. The Iowa State Bystander noted, as it was no unusual thing 50 years ago for colored people to be cruelly separated by the hand of slavery, it is not difficult for those acquainted with slave history to readily understand the situation. To this end may be accounted the separation of Father and Mother Bell and Salem Hampton 50 years ago. Hampton was now living in Taylor, Texas, where he owned and operated a farm. He visited the Bells at their Des Moines home, and the two were happily reunited. On January 30th, 1903, a notice in the Iowa State Bystander stated that Jane Bell was very sick, and her friends were worried about her condition. Unfortunately, she died only a week later on February 7th, 1903, at the age of 84. She was survived by her husband, who had passed 6 years later. Jane Bell was buried at Woodland Cemetery. Obituaries remarked that she was a good woman, a true wife, a loving mother, and a friend to all.